As movies have taught us, monsters roam the earth. Monsters like critters, gremlins, ghoulies, munchies, spookies, hobgoblins, and of course, Mitch McConnell. However, not all monsters are scary. And I'm not talking about nice monsters like those dudes who signed articles of incorporation, although when you think about it, capitalism is the real monster. I'm talking about the monsters who are supposed to be scary, but aren't. Allow me to guide you through the unscary monsters of filmdom. Now I want to be clear. I'm not talking about your leprechauns or ginger dead men or evil bongs or Jack's Frosts or killer's tomatoes, because these creatures were never meant to be scary. They belong to the lowest cinematic art form, the intentionally bad movie, designed to make some drunk college guy say, "What the fuck, dude? That shit's hilarious!" and wake up his vomit-encrusted roommate so they can get blazed. Not that those fictional guys I just made up so I could hate on them don't deserve to have movies too, but nuts to filmmakers who set the bar so low for themselves, and also to hell with listicle sites who publish articles on bad horror movies who don't seem to understand camp. It's been 59 years, y'all. Read some Susan Sontag. Anywho, my point is, if you want informed commentary, you can't trust the internet. You have to come to an expert, which is what I am, a proud doctor of the Institute for Monster Studies, where we scientifically rank the unscariness of monsters by 3 metrics. Number 1, ease of avoidance. To what degree can one easily escape the monster or just not go wherever the monster hangs out? Number 2, how benign are their goals? Do they want to cause you harm, or are their goals more innocent? Finally, number 3, are they actually kind of cute? Let's start our evaluations with one of the iconic, unscary monsters of yesteryear, Robot Monster's Ro-Man. How easy is he to avoid? Well, in the film, Earth's remaining humans have developed an immunity to his death ray, which I think we can all agree is weird. Neither the word death nor ray suggests something you can be immune to. Anyway, without his long-range weapon, Ro-Man can only attack at the speed of any normal, everyday gorilla with a robot head. Which is to say, not very. Presuming death ray immunity, I'll place his ease of avoidance scale at an 8 out of 10. Category 2, how benign are his goals? Well, his mission is to kill all humans, and with only 8 survivors left on Earth, statistically speaking, he's succeeded. However, as ape creatures have done throughout history, he also falls in love with a human woman, which causes him to reevaluate his kill-all-human stance. Also, the whole thing may or may not be a dream, which means I must assign a score somewhere between all humans are dead and it was just a dream. So, 5 out of 10. Lastly, how cute is he? Well, as with any time you see a gorilla wearing a space helmet, he's more confusing than cute. If he's a robot, what's with the gorilla body? Are robots organic on his planet? And if so, why is the head metal? Or is he just a robot in the way that we're all trapped by our programming, and are thus, in a way, all robots? Anyway, he has a bubble machine like Lawrence Welk, which is definitely cute, so I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Let's move on to an unscary monster from the 70s, the rabbits from Night of the Lepus. What's their easy-to-avoid score? Well, a normal rabbit can run 30 to 40 miles per hour, covering tremendous ground, as long as it remembers to make the left turn at Albuquerque. One can only assume that a giant rabbit is able to cover exponentially more ground. However, its great size and weight might slow it down, in addition to the fact that rabbits are kind of lazy, and mostly just like to sit and eat grass. Plus, rabbits don't have opposable thumbs, so they're not great at getting through doors. I'll give them a 6. What about benign intent? Well, Night of the Lepus posits that giant rabbits would eat people, but science tells us that rabbits are herbivores, so I can only assume that any human eating is accidental and they're really, really sorry about it. I'll give them a 9. Lastly, cuteness. What's their cuteness score? Well, they're clearly pet bunnies sitting in dollhouses, so they get a 10. But let's not just focus on robots and rabbits. How about major appliances, like the demon-possessed laundry machine in The Mangler? First off, is it easy to avoid? Well, it's a laundry machine. Unless you need to dry some clothes by aggressively steamrolling them, there's no reason to go near it, especially since most people use home units and not big, outdated industrial machines. Sure, eventually the machine becomes mobile, but that's only after someone drops antacids containing nightshade into it. Overall, I rank the chances of avoiding the Mangler at nearly 100%, so I'm giving this a 10. How about ill intent? Normally, laundry machines are a modern wonder, only devoted to serving humans. Stephen King, who wrote the short story this film's based on, had a personal reason for being scared of industrial laundry machines, having worked at a big laundry during his years as a struggling writer, and seeing how much damage accidents could cause. But I don't think we can blame machines for human error. Now, granted, this particular machine is possessed by a demon, but I think we can agree that any demon who decides to possess a laundry machine has to be pretty stupid. When it comes to benignness, I give The Mangler an 8. So those are two pretty high scores. But what about cuteness? Well, it's a clothes dryer. Sorry, Mangler. You get a 1. Let's move on to the seedy Cenobite. How easy is he to avoid? Well, in general, the Cenobites aren't known so much for chasing people as they are just standing around looking ominous. Although occasionally CD Head will throw a CD like a shuriken, so he does have a ranged attack. Although I remain dubious about the damage getting hit with a CD might cause. Even if it's the world's most evil CD, Summer Girls by LFO. By the way, I discovered in the course of my research that LFO stands for Light Funky Ones, which just goes to show that, even when you think you've hit your outer limit, you can always find a reason to hate something more. Point is, I give the CD Cenobite a 5. How benign is CD Head's intent? Well, the Cenobites are all about the intersection of pleasure and pain, which is a pretty mainstream kink, honestly, but their version of S&M involves stuff like flaying people alive. So I would argue their pleasure-pain balance is a little out of whack. If your safe word is call 911, you've gone too far. For benign intent, I give them a 3. Lastly, cuteness. Is CD Head cute? Only in the conceptual sense that it's cute to see how back in 1992 we thought physical media would be around forever. Otherwise, he just looks like he had a terrible accident with a 12-disc changer, so I give him a 2. Finally, our last monster, the titular Smiley from the film Smiley. He's almost ludicrously easy to avoid. To summon him, not only do you have to log on to a specific website, but you must type, "I did it for the lulz," not once, not twice, but thrice. If an infinite number of monkeys sat at an infinite number of computers, it would take nearly infinite amount of time to summon Smiley, and there's no way the Wi-Fi is holding out that long. Then you gotta wait for Verizon to come just so you can get murdered. Is Smiley easy to avoid? Yeah, I give him a 10. How benign is Smiley? Well, most of the Smileys throughout the film Smiley are just college pranksters, but the shock ending proves there's also a real Smiley, I guess? It's a real Schrodinger's Smiley situation, so I'll split the difference and give him a 5. Lastly, cuteness. Yes, Smiley does lose points for his infected scar face, but he mostly looks like when a big guy paints a happy face on his belly. Plus, if the song is true, you're never fully dressed without a smile. And Smiley is always dressed to the nines. And if someone dressed to the nines, he gets a 6. Let's look at our totals. CD Head comes the closest to being an effective monster with the lowest unscary score. Roman and the Mangler are surprisingly scientifically more scary than Smiley. But which is the least scary monster of all? In the words of Anya,
Bunnies! Bunnies, it must be bunnies!
Anyway, these are the definitive, unarguable rankings, and you can trust my judgments because besides being one of the world's foremost monster authorities, there's one other thing you should know about me. Boo! I'm a ghost!